I will never not be nervous and very, very wary and respectful of any Welsh team that plays against England in Cardiff. And I'm saying that even about a Welsh team which are 16 straight defeats in a row. All of those 16 defeats of which will be completely forgotten if they go and beat England this weekend. And you can just imagine it happening. Oh, it's set up to be the one game that Wales properly turn it on for. I am worried. I am nervous. But anyway, Wales have announced their team. And, well, yeah, I won't say surprised, but there's some interesting selections. I wasn't totally expecting it. And whereas Steve Borthwick has made his boldest ever selection in the team, where he's gone for 4 open side flankers in his 23-man squad and Twindaloo in the starting back line, making it, well, and I suspect that maybe Tom and Ben Curry were selected together, partly, at least partly thinking, let's combat Tommy Raffel and Jack Morgan for Wales in a double jackal threat. England have gone a little bit maverick in the back row. Wales have gone conventional with a classic 6, 7, and 8. Aaron Wainwright is in. Tommy Raffel on the bench. Jack Morgan to 7, and Taulupe Faletau continues at 8. The only other change is Joe Roberts, who goes from the bench to the start, and he's on the left wing with Nick Tompkins into the 23 on the bench. Other than that, it's as you were. I mean, I was a little surprised when I saw it to see Nick Tompkins in. You could argue that because Joe Roberts is a centre on the wing, wouldn't it make more sense to have Josh Hathaway on the bench and then you could just nudge Joe Roberts inside one if you needed to? I think possibly it's just that little bit of experience. I mean, the fact is that Wales don't have a lot of options to choose from. Fit and available players. Josh Adams is out as well, so they don't have the options there. So it would have been Josh Hathaway or Nick Tompkins. I can understand why they've gone Nick Tompkins. A bit of experience in the pressure cooker, especially in the last 20 minutes of a game. And I think one of the tactics England are going to bring to this Welsh team, with the fact they've selected Tom Roebuck and they've selected Elliot Daly and Tommy Freeman's in the back line, is quite a big English back line, quite good aerially. So I think they are going to drop some bombs on Blair Murray and Joe Robertson, Ellis Mee. And we'll see how they get on. And I think England will be sending the 2 Bens and the Tom. Again, they've swapped 2 Toms and a Ben for 2 Bens and a Tom. Tom Curry, Ben Curry, and Ben Earl, I think, are going to go scavenging for any scraps which come down from that aerial bombardment. We'll see if that actually happens. I have got, as well as looking at the Welsh 23, I'll remind you of the English side, and then I've got a combined 23-man squad. So let me just plant that seed with a question. How many of these players would you put into an English 2023? And there's no denying that where Wales are at as a side. They're a young team that have had a massive amount of turnover. A lot of players who have been thrust into the international arena maybe a little earlier, or maybe before they're properly ready, but they're having to learn on the job a little bit. We'll see how they actually do, but no surprises. I love the fact that Taulupe Faletau is playing the sort of rugby he is. Can he get back to his peak? There is, I have to say, a bunch of positions where Andy Farrell is going to have his little clipboard out and thinking British and Irish Lions selection. Jack Morgan up against the Currys and Ben Earl, massive. You've got, Taulupe Faletau against Ben Earl, that's a big one. Thomas Williams against Alex Mitchell. This game could absolutely define which one of those players potentially misses out and potentially gets on the plane if one of them just does a number on the other. So some really, really interesting ones to watch. So the England team then, just to remind you, mad selection. Didn't see it coming. Marcus Smith is in at fullback with Elliot Daly moved onto the wing. Fraser Dingwall, with a new centre partner, his Northampton Saint teammate Tommy Freeman, who moves in with Tom Roebuck coming in. So there's only 3 people in the English backline that stay in the same shirt they were in last week to start the game. Much more settled in the forwards, where the only change, Hooker, Jamie George started the last game because it was his 100th appearance. He's back onto the bench where he's been for England for the most part. And other than that, it was just Ben Curry for Tom Willis and a slight rejig in the back row. How many Welshmen would you put in that 23-man squad? I went back and forth on a couple of these, but I've finally settled on, and I will change my mind, 1 Welshman in the pack. Jack Morgan. Could so easily have gone Taulupe Faletau at number 8, and I very nearly did. He's been so good the last couple of games, and if he brings a bit of vintage Faletau, he'll make me look silly. But Ben Earl has been outstanding, so I've gone for him. I think David Jenkins has been really good, but Itoje and Chesham take it. What I would really like to have done is, in a combined 23, have Jamie George and Dewi Lake. But the way I do it is I compare shirt 1 with shirt 1. So Ellis Genge and Nicky Smith, Luke Cowan-Dickie, Elliot D, and so on. So, yeah, I went all English in the pack, except for Jack Morgan. But I do not underestimate Wales in the slightest, especially when they're playing England, which gives them an extra, like many teams, it gives them an extra few percentage points of motivation. Toughest calls, Alex Mitchell at over Thomas Williams. I went back and forth on that one. Just off the last game, I thought Alex Mitchell looked really good. And if England come to play a little bit and the ball is quick, then Alex Mitchell looks great. And I put him slightly, ever so slightly above Thomas Williams, but that could have gone either way. Ben Thomas and Max Llewellyn, I went for an all-Welsh centre partnership. Fraser Dingwall and Ben Thomas, both relatively new to the international arena, but Ben Thomas, I really like the look of him at inside centre, and I had to block out of my mind the games where he played at 10, where he wasn't really a 10. Max Llewellyn, I would have over... Tommy Freeman, I'd pick him over his Welsh counterpart if he was on the wing. No question. But at centre, Tommy Freeman has not played a lot of rugby at outside centre. I think he can and probably will do a very good job. But the known quantity there is Max Llewellyn. So, and again, I really thought about Blair Murray over Marcus Smith, because Marcus Smith will have some deficiencies from not having the experience at fullback, but his upside is so far up there that I had to pick him. Tommy Raffel and Gareth Thomas, the only two that get it on the bench for Wales. So I think that paints a picture, but like I say, that doesn't count for a great deal when it's Wales playing against England with the roof shut in Cardiff, with 80,000 mad Welsh fans making an absolute cacophony of noise. The emotion, the atmosphere, the Welsh male voice choirs before the game, Land of My Fathers, the build-up in Cardiff, and all the other emotion that comes with the Six Nations Saturday. English wins in Cardiff are very, very hard to come by. And even if it's by a point, and even if it's ugly, I will 100% take it. I do think England win. I think they probably score 4 tries as well. So I think England will roll the dice a little bit to get the 4 tries. Bring it on. Can't wait for it. I'll be covering the games right across the channel. And hopefully you'll be following what I'm up to and getting stuck in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.